Boleh nampak tak tuan?
Ada. Jangan risau.
Saya start sekarang.
Boleh. Dah. Proceed.
Sekejap saya set timer. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Mr. Noor Ashraf and my fellow friends. So today I want to present about workplace assessment project. So before presenting deeply, I want to introduce myself first. My name is Daniel Hakim bin Zul Hazifitri and my matrix ID is RO21163. So my workplace relation is Masari Construction Sendirian Berhad. So for introduction, let's look about the company background. Masari Construction Sendirian Berhad is a construction company from Kota Baru, Kelantan. Currently, the project location is at Bentong Pahang. It was founded on June 9, 1999, and it's entirely owned by Bumi Putras. The company is primarily involved in transportation, construction, and general trading, and it has completed several large projects. Among the projects completed are upgraded of the village road, and the building and construction of a bridge over the Pergau. So next is company organization structure chart. As you can see from the these are the organization structure from the top management to bottom management. Next is company safety organization structure chart. They have chairman, safety officer, employee representatives, and also employee representative. And the total number of workers currently at Masari Construction Berhad is 36 employees. Next is company overall work process flowchart. So the project is about construction of steel bridge. Construction of steel bridge begin with site clearing and then cable TNB or TM relocation, and then construction of temporary road diversion, and then is construction of temporary steel bridge, and then T-beam casting, after that board piling, and then construction of pier and abutment, and then beam launching, and then concrete slip, and lastly is premix. Next is company specific work activity flowchart. From the overall work process, I choose T-beam casting as specific work activity. So T-beam casting begin with make a 40 meter and 25 meter platform, and then tie iron, install beam head 0102 according to the drawing, and then make a spiral iron, and then insert ducting. After that, insert the tendon cable, make a fixed end flower, and then install mold, which is concrete mold, and then install start bar, and then concrete, open mold. Lastly is cable confirmation, and then finish the T-beam casting process. So next is company overall work process findings, which is pictures of overall work process. They are temporary bridge, temporary road, site clearing, and also premix. And next is company specific work activity findings, which is the pictures of specific, which is the pictures of T-beam process, which is the creek platform, working on top of T-beam, and then concreting work. So next is objective. This report's goal is to meet the following requirement. Number one is to identify 6 specific hazards in the workplace and categorize them to 4 safety hazards and 2 health hazards. Number 2 is to determine the risk rating of the hazards and suggest the risk control. And then is to identify the most critical safety and health hazard, and then to propose a recommendation efficiently using hierarchy control to reduce the risk of hazard, and lastly to propose an effective plan to ensure the hazard and risk can be minimized. Next is methodology. There are 3 methods were used to identify hazards in construction of bridge at Masari Construction Sdn Bhd. The methods are, the number one is observation. workflow observation at the construction site, and observe the potential hazard at the workplace and the work process involved. And number 2 is document review, which is review the company information. And last is interview. Ask the interviewee about the workplace condition. Next is risk rating. To determine the risk rating, risk can be calculated using the following formula: likelihood times severity. So we get the risk. This is the example of the likelihood table. Next is the example of severity table. So we go to the findings and discussion. Work process number 1 is working on top of T-beam. So the hazard is falling from the T-beam, which is we can classify it as falling from height. And it's also can classify as safety hazard. The effect is injured. Workers can get injury from the falling, which is head injury or neck injury. For existing control, the workers wore basic PPE like safety helmet, safety boot, and safety vest. For the risk rating, the likelihood is 4 because the workers do their work, do the work process daily. And the severity is 3 because based on the effect, the workers only get body injury. So the risk is 12, which is medium. For the control measure, there are no control measure for eliminate, substitutes, isolation, and administrative control, except engineering control and PPE. For engineering control, the supervisor can provide safe work procedure for the workers. And for the PPE, the supervisor can provide safety harness. So the related law, OSHA 1994, Section 15, General Duties of Employers and Self-Employed Person, Subsection 1, Subsection 2, page 196. Number 2 is work process number 2 is lifting the bucket of concrete using mobile crane, and the hazard is hit by moving object, the bucket, and it can classify as safety hazard. The effect is the worker's head can be hit with swinging bucket of concrete and get a head injury. And for the existing control, the workers already wore basic PPE, like safety helmet. And for the risk rating, the likelihood is 3 because the work process is do weekly, not daily. And based on the effect, the severity is 3 because the workers only get head injury. And the risk is 9, which is medium. And for control measure, there are no control measure for eliminate, substitute, isolation, and engineering control, except administrative control and PPE. For administrative control, it is recommended to do refreshment training on awareness of surrounding. And for PPE, the safety supervisor can provide safety harness for the workers. And for related law, it is OSHA 1994, Section 15, General Duties of Employers and Self-Employed Persons, Subsection 1, Subsection 2, page 196. And work process number 3 is operating the machine. So the hazard is trapping hazard, which is it can classify as safety hazard. And the effect is workers can get cut injury if finger or hand trapped inside the machine. And for existing control, the workers already wore basic PPE like safety gloves, helmet, boot, and vest. And for the risk rating, the likelihood is 3 because operate the machine, the workers do that weekly. And the severity for the hazard is 3 because the workers only get cut injury. And the risk is 9, which is medium. So for countermeasure, there are no countermeasure except administrative control. So it's recommended for safety advisor to provide worker with a proper training on how to operate the machine. And for the related law, OSHA and FMA, it is OSHA 1994, General Duties of Employers and Self-Employed Person, Section 15, to be general duties of employers and self-employed person to their employees. Work process number 4 is working condition while entering the tender cable, which it means the workers surrounding condition. So the hazard is tripping hazard, which is it can classify as safety hazard. And the effect is the working condition of workers can cause them to trip and fall and then get minor injury like sprains and bruises. And for existing control, the workers already wore basic PPE like safety helmet, safety vest, safety boot, and safety gloves. And for the risk rating, the likelihood is 3 because they do not do that daily but weekly. And the severity and for the severity is 1 because the workers only get minor injury. So the risk is 3, which is low. And for control measure, there are no control measure except administrative control. So it is recommended to do housekeeping to be carried out regularly throughout every day. And safety advisor can provide proper training on working on uneven surfaces. So the related law is FMA 1976. Safety, Health and Welfare, Section 10. Provisions relating to safety. General Provision Regulation 1986, Section 8, Sleeping Hazards. So, the work process number 5 is treating the T-beam platform under the sun. So the hazard is the workers exposed to high temperature for a long period. So the hazard it can classify as head hazard, and the effect is heat stress, dehydration, and dizziness. And for existing control, the workers wear basic PPE like safety helmet, vest, and also safety boot. And the risk rating for the hazard, the likelihood is 4 because they do the work daily. And the severity and the severity is 2 because the workers only get uh, heat stress, dehydration, and dizziness. And the risk is 8, which is medium. And for the countermeasure, there are no countermeasure except administrative control. So it is recommended to do job rotation to minimize the exposure of heat towards the workers, and also provide rest area and drinking water. And related law is FMA 1967, Safety, Health and Welfare, Section 25, Provision Relating Welfare. And work process number 6 is hammering nail in same posture. The hazard is ergonomic hazard, which is it can classify as health hazard. The effect is workers can suffer back pain due to work in same posture. And for the existing control, the workers already wear basic PPE like safety helmet, safety boot, and safety vest. And the risk rating is the likelihood is 4 because they hammering nail daily. And severity for the severity is 1 because they get minor injury like back pain. And the risk is 4, which is low. And for control measure, for administrative control, it is recommended to do job rotation among workers and also provide proper training for workers. So the related law is Portion 94, General Duties of Employees and Self-Employed Persons, Section 15(2)(b), General Duties of Employers and Self-Employed Persons to their employees. So from the previous slide, the most critical safety hazard based on the overall work process is falling from the top of T-beam. The workers were exposed to the hazard daily, and based on the observation at the workplace, workers will only suffer body injury, like head injury and neck injury, because the T-beam is not too high. And the most critical hazard is creating the T-beam platform under the sun. The workers were working every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and will be exposed to direct sunlight for a long period. The workers also can get dehydration and dizziness. So the recommendation for most critical safety hazard, there are no recommendation for elimination, substitution, isolation, but for engineering control, supervisor can provide a safe work procedure to the workers before conduct work on top of T-beam. For administrative control, workers as supervisor can do toolbox talks before work, and PPE is the supervisor can provide safety harness. And for recommendation for most critical health hazard, there are no recommendation for elimination, substitution, isolation, and engineering control. But for administrative control, number 1 is recommended to do job rotation to minimize the exposure of heat towards the workers. Number 2, provide rest area. Number 3, supervisor can provide drinking water to workers. And for PPE, the supervisor can provide sunglasses or advise the workers to wear clothes that are not too thick when working. So the benefits of high right to workplace, number 1 is to identify all the factors that may cause harm to employees. Number 2 is to consider what the chances are of that harm actually befalling anyone in the circumstances of a particular case and the possible consequences that could come from it. And lastly is to enable employers to plan, introduce, and monitor preventive measures. For conclusion, construction of bridge is a high-risk job. Most of the work processes exposed to many hazards and dangers. Efforts must be taken to identify, analysis, and introduce control measures to eliminate or reduce the hazards in order to prevent accident from occur. And lastly, the top management, project team, subcontractors, and all workers must give their full cooperation and commitment to ensure that all the control measures are effective and efficient in achieving zero accident for the project. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Thank Daniel. So you boleh buka dekat yang apa 1.2 punya slide. Jadi sikit dia punya slide. Okay, first of all, terima kasih dan congratulations with your presentation. Tak ada hiccup sebenarnya actually. Kalau you cakap tadi, kalau ada sangkut apa sekali, tak ada masalah pun. So just going smoothly, and then you tengok 1.2. So ini adalah company safety organisation structure or chart. So safety organisation chart yang you buat ni sebenarnya more on safety committee organisation chart. So this one sebab tu ada employer representative and employee representative. So kena ingat So chart ni ada dalam OSHA 1994, dan chart ni biasanya dia cerita pasal safety committee meeting. Pekerja lebih 40 orang, kena ada employer rep. Okay, so safety officer as an advisor ataupun kita punya inilah untuk chart ni. So chart ni kalau nak present dekat luar, you kena tukar. So ini bukan organisation chart untuk office tu lah, untuk apa, company tu. Okay, so next. So hati-hati sikit kalau nak pilih chart sebagainya. So next, tengok kita tak ada masalah pun yang ni saya faham je. So ini ada 3 kerja ataupun memang dia punya anak panah tu memang straight macam gitulah. Ke macam mana? Untuk tipping casting. Tak, untuk tipping casting ni daripada make a 40 meter sampai ke akhir tu. Okay, daripada make a 40 meter sampai insert ducting ni satu proses. Ataupun macam mana?
Oh, dia semua proses. Dia mula daripada make a 40, lepas tu insert ducting, lepas insert ducting, dia into the tendon cable.
Yelah, you punya anak panah ni kena
anak panah tak ada. So semua.
Tak ada hal. Okay, so itu teguran yang kedua. So next, dia punya tu boleh buka dekat high rack. Okay, for the first one, you punya finding is walking on top of a T-beam. So this one more on safety hazard. So hazard will be falling from the T-beam ataupun falling from height effect dia injured body part, especially head and neck. So yang ni you boleh buat minor or major injury, and then you boleh letak juga fatality. So walking on top of T-beam ni lebih daripada 1.8 meter ke ataupun lebih daripada 2 meter?
Dia
2 meter ke?
Masa saya pergi tempat tu, based on my observation, dia tak lebih daripada 10 meter. Saya akak dalam 2 meter lebih ke 3 meter.
So kalau you tengok dalam mana-mana SOP company, dia akan decide walking height lebih pada 1.8 meter ataupun 2 meter baru kena provide full body harness lah. Okay, so kalau ni kena double check balik dengan company tersebut, dia punya SOP 1.8 ataupun 2.0, 1.8 atau 2.0 lah meter. And then saya tak kisah pun kalau you cuma existing control sebenarnya bukan setakat basic PPE saja. Kita tengok juga company ni ada buat tak contoh macam tempat nak cangkuk harness, ataupun nak elak orang daripada jatuh ni, apa lagi yang company ni buat. So jangan existing control ni tengok pada PPE saja. Mungkin sebenarnya company ni dia ada sebenarnya SOP untuk kerja-kerja tempat tinggi. Kena double check balik. Kalau ada SOP kerja tempat tinggi, just masukkan dekat sini, dia ada SOP tersebut, cuma dia tak follow. Kita boleh cakap macam itu. Risk rating tak ada masalah. 4, 3, 12 medium. Control measure. So engineering control ni, safe work procedure ni bukan engineering control. So safe work procedure ni adalah under administrative control. So administrative control ni dia macam signage, dia boleh buat. Okay, signage tu contoh administrative control lah. SOP, safe work procedure, permit to work. Lepas tu job rotation daripada HR, itu administrative control. So kalau sebut engineering control ni, benda yang you modify supaya benda tu lagi proper ataupun lagi baik. So you kena faham sikit pasal control measure. Boleh
Dia macam mana tu, saya tak faham sangat apa perbezaan dia dua.
Okay, Engineering control, contoh kata saya ada kipas yang sedang berpusing.
Okay.
Tapi kipas saya ni, dia tak ada penutup menyebabkan kalau tangan saya ni cepat sangat masuk tempat kipas berpusing. Okay, benda yang berpusing, dia tak ada penutup, tak ada cover. So tangan kita boleh masuk and then sebabkan luka. Okay, dengan inisiatif engineering control, saya fabricate satu penutup dan saya tampal dekat sini. So sekarang selamat tak selamat?
Selamat.
Selamatlah sebab saya ada benda yang saya fabricate engineering control. Saya dah ubah dia punya engineering structure benda ni, saya dah ubah. Tutup. Okay, itu adalah engineering control. Tapi bila sebut administrative control, dia macam more on paperwork, more on nak educate orang, training, SOP, work procedure, permit to work, SDS, safety data sheet, itu adalah administrative control. Boleh?
Maknanya engineering control tu macam dekat equipment sajalah.
Boleh juga dia cakap nak equipment tu lagi suitable, lagi sesuai. Okay, mungkin dia fabricate dekat bawah, dia letak bucket supaya orang jatuh tak jatuh ke tanah ke bawah. Dia tu ada bucket yang sambut dia tu. Itu salah satu pada engineering control. Tengok logik tak logik dia buat punya prosedur, dia punya engineering control. So kalau you tak faham pasal control measure daripada elimination sampailah PPE, you better start tanya lecturer you balik one by one biar dia explain satu-satu supaya bila ada you buat paperwork, you boleh decide, oh ini sebenarnya elimination, oh ini substitution, penggantian, ini isolation daripada harimau seekor, kita letak dia dalam kandang, kita dah isolate dia daripada kawasan luar. Itu isolation, kita bagi dia satu bilik supaya dia duduk dalam bilik tersebut, dia tak keluar pergi makan orang, harimau contoh. Itu adalah isolation. Faham? Okay, kalau yang kedua pula saya beri contoh. Saya ada mesin vacuum yang kuat bunyinya, sound menyebabkan health effect. Tapi vacuum ni saya buat satu bilik untuk vacuum. Bila nak vacuum, dia vacuum dalam bilik tersebut je, tak boleh keluar. So sound dia keluar tak keluar daripada tempat kita tinggal, tak kena lah. So sound tu duduk dalam bilik tersebut. Itu adalah isolation. So you better double check balik dengan lecturer you supaya lagi faham. Sebab overall yang you buat ni sebenarnya cantik. Dia punya slideshow ni cantik. Dia punya apa yang you present ni cantik. And then apa yang you cakap ke saya pun memang nampak smooth. Okay. So for the next. Next.
Next.
Okay. Yang tadi satu lagi tu, kalau dia dah buat minor, major injury and the fatality, kalau lebih 2.0 boleh jadi fatality, kematian. So you boleh tinggikan dia punya risk rating. Okay. So yang ni lifting the bucket of concrete using mobile crane. So you dah guna mobile crane. Bila guna mobile crane, hit by moving object the bucket, maknanya you takut bucket terjatuh lah. So bucket tu terlanggar. Okay. Dekat sini tak ada masalah pun, memang safety hazard. Tapi kalau you nak tambah lagi safety hazard, you boleh cakap crane ni topper, crane ni tumbang sebabkan tanah uneven. Boleh juga kalau nak buat tambah lagi. Kalau nak stick yang ni pun tak ada masalah lah, okey lah. Tapi the worker head can be hit by swinging bucket of concrete and get hit injury. Itu kepada manusia lah. Tapi kena tengok juga kepada dia punya efek ni. Kalau tanya saya suka bagi pada 4. Satu, dia akan efek kepada manusia. Yang kedua, boleh impact kepada alam sekitar. Kalau tanya saya lah, dia boleh impact pada reputasi company. Malu lah company ada kes kematian. And then dia boleh impact kepada harta benda. Mungkin bucket tu adalah harta company. Kalau dah pecah, rosak sebagainya, tak boleh nak jalan kerja. So dah merugi company. Itu efek yang you boleh buat. Bukan setakat you fikir pasal manusia, you boleh fikir pasal environment, asset ataupun reputation company. So efek ni kalau level diploma mungkin lagi cakap manusia saja. Kalau you nak lebih study, you better buat macam 4 benda ni. Boleh fokus benda lain dekat. So supaya nampak rasa terbuka sikit. Okay. So untuk lifting ni dia bagi basic PPE, safety helmet. So you ada check tak kalau dia ada buat inspection pada crane? Mungkin company ni ada buat inspection PMA. Itu existing control dekat sebenarnya tu. Jangan fokus pada PT saja.
Okay.
Tengok dia punya driver crane dia ada buat inspection tak, competent driver crane tak, mungkin dekat dia punya crane dia lapik tak bagi crane tu tumbang, itu existing control jugalah. Okay, so control measure yang you suggest, refreshment training, awareness of surrounding pun okay. Ini refreshment ataupun awareness training untuk lifting activity. Okay, so much better you buat awareness training for lifting activity. Okay, saya tak faham safety harness ni. Safety harness ni dia angkat.
Dia macam ni sebab dia yang dalam gambar ni, sekejap saya tunjuk.
Okay.
Dalam gambar ni dia buat atas ni. Maknanya itulah.
Oh, yang sebelah kanan sekali yang concrete work.
Concrete work.
Kalau pakai harness tak boleh juga. Memang orang tu, sebab sekarang you cerita pasal dia angkat bucket, bukan pasal orang kerja tempat tinggi. Kerja tinggi dia cerita tadi kan. Sekarang cerita pasal bucket. You boleh buat SOP ataupun larangan orang position orang bawah bucket. So tak dibenarkan sesiapa saja duduk bawah bucket ataupun bawah bucket tu, jalan bawah bucket tu. So boleh buat control juga tu. SOP for proper punya aktiviti ni. So boleh jadikan administrative control. Okay?
Okay tuan.
Boleh tambah. So next. Lama pula saya komen tadi. Operating the machine, memang comel you punya tripping hazard pun cantik. Okay, next. Working condition while entering the tender cable ni apa maksud dia?
Dia sebenarnya saya tak nak cerita pun tentang entering the tender cable, tapi kawasan persentikaran kerja tu. Maknanya ada barang-barang yang dia tak practice good housekeeping lah macam tu.
Ke cable management. Maknanya sesuatu kabel yang tak berapa tepat, tak susun dengan betul lah. So more on cable management lah, kan? Boleh tukar ayat tersebut lah kot. Dalam kurungan cable not proper cable management, boleh lah.
Okay tu.
So yang ni more on tripping, betul dah you buat effect slip 3 and 4 tu satu effect lah. Basic PPE. Okay, next. Creating the TP platform under the sun. Okay. Overall yang saya tengok you pilih the most high risk for safety hazard dan juga the most high risk for health hazard ni sebenarnya betul lah. Bukan betul lah orang cakap apa. Memang dah kena dengan topik yang you buat lah. So bagi saya overall macam sangat dah. Kalau nak presentation untuk level 4 SHO lah. Cuma you kena baiki sikit dan faham sikit pasal control measure dan pasal existing control. Okay, so related law ni saya ingat memang ada buat study lah. Okay, so itu saja komen daripada saya. Daniel, you ada apa-apa soalan untuk saya tak?
Tuan, saya nak tanya tapi bukan berkaitan ni lah. Apa perbezaan kalau kita bentang dengan SHO tu? Yang tuan kata tadi tu. SHO apa paper 4.
Okay, SHO examination dia ada paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4. So paper 1, paper 2 dia akan fokus pada apa yang dia study dalam kelas. Maknanya subject by subject lah. So paper 3 dia akan ada exam skill. Skill maknanya setiap major dia akan bagi soalan questionnaire berkaitan dengan skill macam mana you nak solve the issue berkaitan dengan HSC. Okay, so paper 4 ni adalah presentation yang macam sebiji you orang buat. So sebenarnya you buat kerja yang presentation dekat saya sekarang ni adalah almost the same with SHO punya paper 4. So bila lulus paper 1 hingga paper 4, get an experience for 3 years and then you will be a registered safety and health officer. So paper 4 ni biasa ramai orang yang tak lepas ataupun banyak yang repeat sebabkan oleh slideshow yang present ni tak faham, control measure tak buat dengan betul, working process pun tak ingat, lepas tu bila selection of the most help dan juga safety ni tak betul. So yang lecturer you bagi ni sebenarnya adalah more on reality of examination for SHO. So sebab tu kalau you buat baik sekarang, bila nak exam ataupun you ambil cert SHO nanti senang. Inilah dia punya tu. Sebab NIOSH ataupun DOSH dia letakkan 6 hazard. 4 adalah safety dan 2 balance-nya adalah health hazard. Sama sebiji. So you tahu bila you jadi SHO, registered SHO, you adalah somebody, person in an industry. Okay, so kalau orang lain ada engineering, you adalah SHO yang ada background engineering. So you will be HSC engineer. Okay, faham?
Faham tuan?
Memanglah semua orang tak nak lah kerja SHO, semua orang nak kerja. Tapi kalau anda kata inilah rezeki orang, just accept sajalah. So apa yang you buat sekarang benda yang the best lah actually. Okay, boleh Ada soalan lagi Daniel?
Setakat ni tak ada lagi tuan. Tak ada.
Okay, dalam grup tu kalau you nak keep in touch dengan saya, keep in touch lah. Okay.
Okay tuan.
So terima kasih. Kita proceed saja dengan second punya candidate lah. So silakan. Terima kasih Daniel.
Sama-sama tuan.
Hello, sir.
Hello Sanjit, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. So,
Okay, Sanjit.
sir, I have one issue about my laptop. So, my friend Rafiq will present my slide. Can right, sir?
Tak ada masalah, okey je.
Okay.
So saya senang je Sanjit. I give you 20 minutes to present and then 10 or 15 minutes I will be comment on your slideshow lah. Okay, tapi saya akan dalam bahasa Melayu campur dah
Boleh.
Okay, yes. Okay, proceed. Saya off saya punya mic.
Okay, boleh, sir. Good evening, sir. So, my name is Sanjeev Rao and Kipanero, and my ID number is RO21210. So, the workplace that I am choose is SJKT Indira Makota. It is a primary school. So, Rafiq, next slide. Okay, introduction. The company name, that school name is SJKT Indira Makota, and this school located at Indira Makota, Kuantan, Pahang, and founded in 1942 to carry out study activities in Indira Makota. So this school normally working hours are 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. There is no shift working hours. This school operates every Monday to Friday except weekend and public holidays. So their main activities is providing education, free education by government, and by teaching and giving a co-curriculum activity also are provided. So next is objective. Next is company organization structure. So this is a chart. At the top are principal, in order senior administrative assistant and senior assistant student affair, and then senior assistant's curriculum, and the my right hand side is the head of the disciplinary teacher and counselor, and the excuse me. At the bottom, senior teachers and language subject teachers and subject teacher too. So next slide. Objective. The main objective of the the main objective why that the main objective that why I'm conducting the hierarchy at the school is to determine the risk rating of the hazard and suggest the risk control for critical hazard. Second is to identify 6 special hazard in the workplace, categorize them into 4 hazard and 2 hazard to identify the most critical safety and health hazard based on the overall. And then to propose recommendation for efficient hierarchy control to reduce the risk of hazard, and finally to propose an effective action plan to ensure the hazard risk can be minimized. So next slide. So methodology. Based on methodology, I conduct by observation and interview. So based on my observation, so hazard might be found by maintaining a close watch on work process. The student fell from the stairs due to a slipper staircase and no signage. The staff at that school took me on a tour of the building to look for any unsafe condition. I have several photos as proof. For example, at the at the slide, I have a slippery floor, an uneven surface at the middle of the school, and the left on my right hand side is a poor housekeeping staircase. So next slide, please. So next is I have been conversing with certain members of the school personnel and asking them questions regarding the area's safety. So I have interview the GPK HAM and a class of students. So these photos as a proof. So next. So next is risk assessment. So it is a likelihood table. The sum is dependent on the likelihood that an event will occur. You might be curious as to how frequently this scenario has happened in the past. Probability is assessed via worker experience, analysis, or measurement. Next slide. So next is risk rating table. So uh, before we applying this method to uh, before applying to our report, first we must identify the severity column in the matrix that best capture the risk result, and then follow the likelihood row to description the most accurately reflect the likelihood that the severity will occur, and finally information about the risk level is contained. So the red is refers to frequently, that orange color bar is high, and the yellow for medium and green is low. So next slide, please. Okay, this is my finding and discussion which was I conduct at the school. So their first activity is slippery floor and wet floor by leaking, and the hazard may cause slip and fall involved by staff and students when they using the staircase. So likelihood that I have given is 4, severity 2, and total is 8. So next is uneven surface. So the hazard can cause trips and fall. So this activity will occur in oftenly, like for example, there will be per month at least 4 cases or 5 cases that student will fall at the particular place. So next is poor housekeeping. So the hazard may cause serious injury and bruises. Poor sorry. So the next is broken and rusted handrail may cause losing balance and on staircase. Sir, can you give me a 1 minute?
Okay, tak ada hal.
I'm
It's
so
okay, it's
nervous.
okay. Proceed.
Okay. Okay, the broken and rusted handle are used at the school, so may cause losing balance on staircase. So, and finally, for the safe health hazard, I found that the students and the teachers, staffs are using uncomfortable stairs and broken chairs. So it may cause back pain. So next slide, please. So here is a recommendation. So I just choose one main asset and I do a hierarchy of control for that asset. So basically, according to the hierarchy of control, the suggested way of reducing health and safety risk are substitution, engineering control, administrative control, and personal protective equipment (PPE). So the uneven floor, the elimination is none. Substitution, yes. The suggestions are given, correcting poor work practices and substitute with even floor. Engineering control, none. And administrative control, yes. We must give a giving a safety briefing to the students and the staff, and personal protective equipment, none. So next. So this is for health hazard, uncomfortable chair. So the elimination are eliminate all the broken chairs and unstable chair. Substitute with new chairs with followed by guideline of, or substitute with new chairs which is followed by the guideline. So for the administrative control, providing safety briefing about how to use a chair with ergonomic techniques. So the personal protective equipment is none. So next. So the benefits of a hierarchy to the workplace. First is to determine all the elements that could endanger both employees and others. Next is to think about the likelihood that harm would actually befall someone in the specific circumstance of a case, as well as any potential outcomes. Then finally, to make it possible for business to organize, implement, and track preventive steps that will guarantee that risks are always properly managed. So next. So for the conclusion, the control strategies recommend this study will benefit the company in a number of ways. One benefit is that effective management strategies can raise workplace safety. By taking all the preventive measures carefully, workplace accident can be prevented. Students and staff will be more cautious at work to avoid accident. So there will be fewer accident and occurrence overall. The staff and children can save money on medical costs if there are no incident at the school. Additionally, less time and personnel can be used. This is because there haven't been any repercussions from workplace accident in terms of delay or layoff. Finally, favor accident, especially those that result in fatalities or major injuries, boost the organization or company's reputation. This situation will help the school lower its accident rate. And thank you.
Okay, thank you Sanji. Apa? Janji. Okay, first of all, you managed to present for tonight lah. So actually you demam ke apa sekarang? You demam
Yes.
Ya, saya faham lah. Tak ada masalah pun. So macam ni, for the next time, kalau kata you kena presentation, make sure preparation lah. Tapi sebab sekarang you demam, saya faham je. Cuma pesan
Tapi
saya,
actually saya ada prepare, tapi time nak present terlalu nervous.
tak ada masalah, tak ada masalah, tak ada masalah, saya faham. So help ni, diri kita ni ada dia punya naik turun. Kadang you demam, kadang you tak, you okay. So cuma saya nak pesan, kalau kata you ada presentation, next presentation, orang kata preparation tu kena tinggi sikit lah. So supaya kalau you present, no hiccup, then you punya eye contact, body language you boleh buat dalam keadaan yang baik. So kita just proceed dia punya slide. You buka slide you yang okay, next slide. Okay, next. So actually you punya topik ni adalah benda yang interesting bagi saya lah. So quite challenge sebab you akan involve dengan government punya sektor and then melibatkan public punya aktiviti. So kalau kalau you nak kira, kita HSC pun ada fight untuk school punya safety ataupun school punya HSC lah. Okay, so kalau you boleh bawa you punya slide ni, presentation dekat tempat-tempat mana tempat pun, mostly orang akan setuju lah. Sebab yelah, kalau saya ada anak pun nak hantar ke sekolah, kita akan pilih sekolah yang safe untuk anak. So this is challenge, quite challenge. You punya topik ni kata salah satu benda yang you boleh fight dekat luar selain presentation dekat you punya universiti lah. So kita just proceed you punya high rec, buka slide high rec. And then next. Okay, so this is your finding and discussion. Slippery floor and wet floor by leaking. Actually daripada 1 sampai lah 5 ni, kita cukup kan? You 6 kan? Sepatut 6.
Ya betul sir, 6. Tapi my problem is memang dalam sekolah tu memang accident dia rendah. Accident rendah, tapi dia punya unsafe condition tu memang banyak. Okay, so lagi satu, by health hazard, dia orang punya sekolah dalam sekolah tu, saya buat apa orang kata observation dekat lab work lah. So at the lab also they never use that harmful chemical. So I really hard to find health hazard. So that's why I'm just randomly interview the students that you all comfortable with the chairs and something like ergonomic lah.
Okay, untuk next time you kena betul-betul follow questionnaire dia punya lecture lah, belum 6 lah. And then saya nak tegur sikit, you punya activity dengan hazard sebenarnya tak kena ni. You punya slippery floor and wet floor by leaking is a hazard. Uneven surface pun hazard. And then untuk slippery floor and wet floor by leaking, dia punya may cause slip and fall involved by staff and student. So dia punya column hazard tu sebenarnya bukan hazard. Dia adalah impact ataupun orang kata kesan. Perasan tak? Hazard apa dia punya definition dia? Potential situation that can cause harm to a person, to a body ataupun environment ataupun asset ataupun combination of this lah. So column activity ni adalah hazard. Tukar balik So column untuk hazard ni adalah impact ataupun kesan. So activity you sebenarnya bukan macam gini. Kalau nombor 1 ni, you boleh cakap activity dia walking. Walking maybe at the corridor, walking into canteen. So area jalan daripada kelas sampai ke kantin, adanya hazard dipanggil slippery floor. And then daripada slippery floor may cause slip and fall involved by staff and students. So itu adalah benda yang betul. So Sanjib boleh lagi. Okay. Kalau kata uneven surface, mungkin saya boleh cakap aktiviti pendidikan jasmani. Aktiviti pendidikan jasmani dekat area tersebut. Tapi area tersebut adalah ada hazard. Hazard dia adalah uneven surface dan boleh menyebabkan trip and fall kepada student. So you kena baiki balik you punya 4.0. Kalau you tak faham, you boleh back to your lecturer or you boleh discuss with your friend lah. Sebab kalau tengok ni, you kena baiki sikit. Activity, you masih tak boleh nak faham activity, hazard dan juga risiko. Okay. So, apa yang you buat, likelihood, severity, risk yang you letak ni, saya tak kisah sangat. Sebab you kena betulkan bahagian depan dulu. Cuma, untuk per housekeeping, may cause serious injury and bruises, memang you letak 15. So, yang likelihood and severity ni memang saya rasa akan tinggi. Sebab mana-mana tempat sekolah pun memang kalau tengok gambar, you bagi gambar tadi kan, memang lack of banyak benda pasal HSC. So, saya sokong you punya finding dekat sekolah ni. Okay, so next. You betulkan balik you punya high rate form betulkan balik.
Okay.
Okay, next. So uneven floor ni you akan letak pada safety hazard and then you punya suggestion, elimination memang tak ada lah. And then substitution, correcting poor work practice and substitute with even floor. Okay, penggantian engineering control memang tak ada. Saya pun boleh agak macam tak banyak sangat lah. Apprentice control, giving a safety briefing. Yang ni you boleh buat safety briefing, you boleh buat signage. Dekat signage tu mungkin tulis, mungkin boleh display uneven floor. So beware ataupun watch out ataupun watch out your step lah. Okay. Yang ni boleh cakap juga. Okay. So matrix control ni you boleh tambah-tambahkan sikit sign pada signage, sign daripada safety briefing. Mungkin dalam SOP dia orang pun boleh tambah. Okay. So PPE ni saya tak yakin lah. Sebenarnya dekat sekolah ni punya PPE dia macam kasut salah satu. Sebab contoh kalau saya pakai slipper, saya pakai flip-flop ataupun slipper yang biasa, kalau saya jalan tiba-tiba saya tersepak benda yang uneven. So kaki, jari boleh sakit dan sebagainya. So kalau existing dia, student memakai kasut kan, student pakai kasut je. Cikgu yang biasa yang pakai high heel. So you boleh suggest dekat sini pemakaian mungkin proper shoes ataupun sport shoes lah. Dia masalah juga bila buat topik ni, dia ada dia punya challenging dia sendiri. Kalau kita cakap pakai kasut, cikgu memang dia akan pakai high heel. So high heel, kalau you jalan dekat area uneven floor ni, memang nak tersadung tu sekejap je. Tapi you ada challenge sendiri. So saya suka you punya topik ni. Sebab kat sekolah memang kita perlukan topik yang orang fight macam gini. Okay? So next. You faham
Ya, faham.
So uncomfortable chair yang ni more pada ergonomic punya lah. Yes. So ergonomic ni kalau kita student, kita boleh cakap how to use proper chair ni memang saya sokong lah. Ergonomic teknik, you boleh mengajar dia orang, you boleh bagi briefing. Mungkin you boleh buat satu SOP. Mungkin dekat dekat setiap kelas you prepare signage how to use a chair. Sebab budak-budak ni yang berumur 7 tahun hingga 12 tahun ni kadang-kadang dia tak suka membaca. Dia suka benda yang animation ataupun sebagainya. Okay, faham right? So next. Tak banyak lah sebab saya memang sokong you punya ni topik ni. Kita ada lah kot, saya ingat. So Sanjit, ada apa-apa soalan tu saya?
That is, I think, no. Tak ada.
Tak ada. Okay. So kalau you nak keep in touch dengan saya dalam group, you boleh tanyalah. So
Boleh.
lepas ni pun saya pun kalau boleh saya nak semua orang punya slideshow ni masuk ke dalam group. So saya boleh, kalau ada kesempatan saya akan buat penambahbaikan ataupun saya bagi peluang you baiki semua sekali slideshow you orang, and then hantar dalam group. Kalau saya ada masa saya akan baiki lagi. Okay, terserah saya punya kepala pula. Okay Sanjit, thank you.
Thank you,
And
sir. Thank you for your
congratulations.
explanation. Thank you, sir.
So we will just proceed with our next candidate. So please. So Mr. Alif, your turn.
Can you see my slide?
Okay.
Alright.
Okay,
Nampak?
let's proceed with a 20-minute your presentation and then 10 minutes for Q&A session. Okay.
Alright.
So Mr. Alif, just proceed.
Right, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Encik Nur Ashraf and my fellow friends. Today I'm gonna do a high-rate presentation. So before I'm doing that, so I want to introduce myself first. My name is Ahmad Alif Afan bin Muhammad Azman. My ID matrix is RO21209. And my workplace selection is at a school that is Sekolah Sains Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah Pekan. So this is a brief introduction of Sekolah Sains Haji Ahmad Shah Pekan. Right. Sekolah Sains Haji Ahmad Shah Pekan was established in 31 October 1989. So Shah Pekan is the 31st fully residential school or SVP in Malaysia, and become one of the largest school in Malaysia at that time, with 72 acres and 20.8 hectare land as its base. So the Sultan Pahang at the time, Almarhum Kebahagiaan Yang Mulia Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah Musta'in Billah Shah has inaugurated the school at 29 October 1989 and marked the Shah Pekan as officially operated. Shah Pekan now operating with 61 academic staff, that is, we call teachers, and 24 supporting staff such as lab assistant, clerk, medical assistant, and more. So between the academic staff, there are a few high-ranking academic staff of Shah Pekan that is known as the administrators and the head of fields. So next is the company organization chart lah. So this is the administrator, which is led by the principal Tuan Haji Mahathir, and
Sorry Alif, dia
Yeah.
punya slideshow tak move.
kenapa tak ada ke?
No movement. Dekat ni lagi, dekat nama lagi. Ke memang tak ada? Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, dekat organization chart.
Just proceed.
Alright. So this is Shah Pekan organization chart, right? So with the administrators led by the Mr. Principal himself, Tuan Haji Mahathir. Then administrative senior assistant, Puan Haji Halimatu. To the student affairs senior assistant, Tuan Haji Samindut, and Encik Laila Murad as co-curricular senior assistant. Well, under them there is we call head of field. There is Encik Haji Muhammad Taufik, that as Head of Field for Technical and Vocational, Tuan Haji Ahmad Syauqi as the Head of Field for Science and Technology, Puan Rita Royanti for Linguistic and Literature, and Encik Ahmad Nashrik as Humanitarian Head of Field. So this is a brief information about the administrators. So the administrators of Syafakan are in charge of school administration, of course, and the school official affair. They are led by Mr. Principal himself, who have the most authorities and give absolute command in school. So the other administrators are known as the senior assistants and divided to their specified field, which is student affairs and curricular and so on. So they act as the advisor to the Mr. Principal to give before he gives his command. Well, the head of fields are in charge in their specified subject because they are an expert to their fields and also recognized by the academic staff in Syafakan and in charge of any inquiries in their field. For example, if something happened in the lab, maybe some accidents happen in the lab, the lab assistant or the teacher in charge should report to the head of fields first. Then the head of fields will report them to the administrators. So they also act as the advisor to the principal as well, because they are also the part of school administration or administrators. Second, next we go to the objective. So the first objective is to identify 6 specific hazards in workplace and categorize it to 4 safety hazards and 2 health hazards. But for me, I little bit I do 3 health hazards. The next, to determine the risk rating of the hazard and suggest the risk control for critical hazard. The third one is to identify the most critical safety and health hazard based on the overall. To propose a recommendation if efficiently using hierarchy control to reduce the risk of hazard. And lastly, to propose an effective action plan to ensure the hazard and risk can be minimized. Alright, number 3 is methodology. Hazards are common in any type of workplace we talk about. So whether it can cause a small cut or lead to major hazards such as can lead to fatality. It is all categorized as hazards. So hazards seriously need to be taken care of as it will lead to accidents. That is the dangerous thing. The accidents are preventable if HIRAC is done properly and implemented accordingly. So the HIRAC, this is the flowchart of HIRAC process, as you can see. So the third one, yes, methodology. This is the method I use in hazard identification. The first one, observation. When I use the observation, I can observe the safe act and unsafe condition during the workplace site visit or workplace observation. The next one is I'm doing the interview. This interview is specified to few people that work around the school, such as the workers, specified teachers, and also medical assistant. Alright, this is the method I use for risk assessment. So the first one is likelihood. Alright, the likelihood is the probability of an event or an accident from happening. It is organized from the most likely, that is rated 5, to the inconceivable, which is the most unlikely, to the rate as the rating 1. The next is severity. Severity arranged in ascending manner, same as the likelihood, from the most catastrophic or the most serious severity to the most minor severity. That is rated 1. So, and next one is the risk rating, which how I do the risk assessment. We it is effective an effective way to calculate the risk rating, which is the likelihood is on the right side and the severity is on the top side. So how to calculate the risk rating is you just multiply the likelihood and the severity. Alright, so for the findings and discussion, this is the hazards that I found in Shafkan. So the first one is walking at the office. That is the work activity. So the hazard is the trailing cables on the floor. So and the effect is trip and fall on the floor. There are no existing control, and the recommended countermeasure is administrative control, that is use cable ties and cover strips. The person in charge, yes, the school administrators. And the related law is Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994. Second one, walking at hallway during rain. There's the work activity. So the hazard will be the hazard is leaking drain pipe will wet the floor. Drain pipe is located at usually on the roof, when to allow the rainwater to flow into the drain. So but it is leaking, so the effect is slip and trip on the floor because the floor is slippery. So my recommended control measure is engineering control, that is fix the leaking at the drain pipe. And the related law is Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994. The third one is using electronic device. The hazard is overloaded outlets or and extension cords. There is a little mistake there. The effect is electric shocks. So the recommended countermeasure for this is administration control. That is, you use one extension cord for one wall socket. There is the law is under Occupational Safety and Health 1994, notification of accident, dangers occurring occupational poisoning and occupational disease regulation 2004. And the last for the safety hazard is cooking at the kitchen. There is cooking gas, and the hazard is cooking gas exposed to the sunlight and which near the stove. So the effect is a fire or an explosion may happen. So the countermeasure for this is administration control. That is apply safe work procedure, and it is under Occupational Safety and Health. Occupational Health and Safety Classification, Labeling and Safety Data Sheet of Hazardous Chemicals Emission Regulation 2013. and also follow the guideline for the classification of hazardous chemicals. The person in charge for this is the canteen manager himself. The next one is for health hazard. So the first health hazard is exposed to the extreme temperature from stove by cooking. The activity is cooking at the kitchen. So the effect is the kitchen handler will feel nauseous, fatigue, and dehydration. For this hazard, there are already existing countermeasure. That is, the kitchen handler or the cook need to take a rest every 15 minutes of cooking. So to rehydrate and to avoid overexposure to the extreme temperature. So my recommended countermeasure is do job rotation between the kitchen handler, because in the canteen there is not only one kitchen handler or the cook, but 3. So instead of doing one at a time, it is better to do job rotations, so to avoid overexposure to the extreme temperature. So the person in charge in this is canteen manager, of course, and the related law is Factories Machinery and Act due to exposure to extreme heat. Using display screen, when this is common when using computer. The hazard is incorrect posture. This is ergonomic hazard. So the effect to the human is we feel fatigue and pain. So there are no existing control for this. And the recommended countermeasure for this is use adjustable seats or adjustable desk to correct the posture of the user or the staff. It is under Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994. And lastly, the food storing. The hazard is improper hygiene and food left unattended, which means it is not covered and just left there and on table. So the effect is maybe food poisoning to the students because it is school canteen. So my recommended countermeasure is keep the food covered, because to avoid pests such as flies to get the food and it is under the Food Act 1985, Food Hygiene Regulation 2009. So this is my recommendation. So to prevent hazard from becoming an accident, countermeasures should be taken in consideration. So the most critical safety hazard for me is exposed to the cooking gas exposed to the sunlight and placed near the stove. This is my hierarchy of control, so there is no other recommended countermeasure. So I put administrative control, apply safe work procedures to the kitchen handler to avoid accident from happen. The kitchen manager should use a proper guideline to handle the cooking gas, because if not the hazard if not taken care of, it will lead to accident. This accident is not regular, because it will cost the life of the cook if not taken care accordingly. The next is the most critical hazard. The most critical hazard is exposed to extreme temperature from the stove. This is the common occurrence to the kitchen handler or the cook to the school canteen or the school canteen. So the recommended countermeasure is implement job rotation to the kitchen handler. Alright. So as a cook, as a kitchen handler, it is it is normal to work under extreme heat. But for some of them cannot stand the extreme heat and start feeling dehydration, feeling nauseous, feeling super tired from cooking, just cooking. So the canteen manager took serious note for this and prepare countermeasure for this hazard. So there is implement job rotation. So because the overexpose of extreme temperature will welcome and heat stress. So the job rotation can allow kitchen handler to have a proper rest and stay hydrated to avoid heat stress and heat exhaustion. So the next is the benefits of high-rec to workplace. So one of them is that safety at work can be increased with efficient control techniques. Accident in the workplace can be avoided by taking necessary control measure, and the workers will also exercise greater caution and attempt to prevent mishaps. So as a result, there will be fewer accident and incident. The next is the organization can prevent or reduce medical expenses or other hidden costs. Additionally, it is possible to utilize less time and labor because there are not any work delays or shutdown because there are not any workplace accident occur. And lastly, particularly those that result in fatalities and major injuries has a positive effect on the organization or company reputation because the canteen management is not under school administration, but it is its own company. So for the then for the canteen company this will have good impact to the company mentioned. So it will increase the client's confidence and trust because there are few accidents, so they have no worries, the customer have no worries, and it will beat another rival in the market for their job. So this company can benefit from this. And lastly, the conclusion after doing high-rec at Shaukan, well, most of the hazards can be found at school canteen. That is true. Well, among the 7 hazards found in school, there are 3 of them from the canteen, including the most critical hazard. For safety hazard, the most critical hazard is cooking gas. Cooking gas exposed to the sunlight and placed near the stove. Stove and sunlight emit heat and can cause explosion if no action or control measure is taken. And next, among the safety hazard, among the health hazard, I'm sorry, there is mistake there. The most critical hazard for health hazard is exposed to extreme temperature from the stove. The problem occurred is the kitchen handler or the cook could not face the extreme heat and temperature from the stove, and making him or her feeling nauseous, feel dehydrated, and fatigued from just cooking. So there are control measures for the critical hazard. Both are administrative control, which I mentioned above, which involve safe work procedures and job rotation. So lastly, accident can happen anytime if the hazard is neglected. So, well, although it is being supervised, there are no telling when an accident will happen. And to ensure that did not happen, the hazard must be taken care. and always obey the law, regulation, and safety guideline provided. And lastly, this is my picture from my visit, right? So that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Alif, and congratulations you managed presentation for tonight. So overall, just proceed with your slide. Start with first slide lah. Buka slide you balik boleh tak?
Oh, sorry.
Ha,
Dah ada.
and Q&A session. Actually you punya topik ni nak lebih kurang kepada Sanjit punya apa? Kita punya member tadi yang present kan?
Yeah.
So, dia buat sekolah rendah, and then dia buat overall, and then buka depan lagi. Depan lagi.
Oh, depan lagi.
First. So you buat sekolah menengah.
Ya.
Okay, you buka di depan. Saya nak tengok yang mula-mula sekali.
Okay.
Jadi mula-mula introduction.
Introduction ya.
Tak ada nama you semua sekali. Saya nak tengok nama.
Oh, nama okey. Mantap.
So selection sekolah. You punya topik presentation tadi apa? You punya ni dekat sekolah apa nama? Workplace selection memang sekolah Sains Sultan Haji Ahmad. So you punya fokus tak ada. You buat overall punya.
Yes. Overall punya macam sekolah lah. Saya tak ada fokus dekat lab saja ke, tak ada.
Okay. Sebab saya tengok you punya finding ni more on kitchen, more on canteen.
Yes.
So kalau nak lagi spesifik sebab macam ni. Contoh kalau you masuk satu kilang, kalau you buat assignment, kadang-kadang orang ni dia buat assignment on overall. Okay, bila on overall, finding ni akan banyak. So macam-macam finding. So sampaikan you punya selection sekarang pun you buat overall. Sampaikan you punya finding lebih daripada you punya objektif. So objektif you nak dapatkan 6 hazard tapi you dapat 7.
Betul.
Betul So why not kalau kata next time mungkin ada presentation on paper 4 on SH4, mungkin you boleh buat spesifik. Contohnya memang workplace selection you adalah sekolah Sains Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah kan. Maybe you can boleh specific on canteen or apa dia punya kitchen for ni lah, food preparation for a student. So lagi macam nampak lagi cun sebab dekat kitchen or canteen dia ada hazard dia sendiri. Kalau ikut 6 hazard actually cukup untuk the whole kitchen tersebut. So kalau you buat overall ni memang tak ada masalah pun. Cuma kalau nak nampak lebih orang kata macam professional on study. Okay, nak professional on study you boleh buat spesifik punya topik lah. Okay, so next kita tengok ni punya hazard sikit, hierarchy sikit. So ini bukan teguran, ini adalah suggestion yang saya bagi untuk spesifik. Okay, kejap. Sebelum tu you tengok slide yang hierarchy punya rating dekat. Okay, so dekat sini metodologi ni kalau you present lebih-lebih banyak-banyak pun tak ada ni sangatlah orang cakap. Yang ni you boleh simplekan sikit lah. Contoh you boleh cakap likelihood start rating with a 1 until 5 and severity 1 until 5, but severity more on example tu lah, example number of fatality, catastrophic fatal. So legend of area ni memang dah ada kat atas ni. Kalau saya pun saya boleh baca. Dekat atas sebelah kanan dan sebelah kiri tu memang dah ada. Tapi yang paling the best sekali yang gambar tengah ni letak atas, yang dua ni letak bawah. So dua bawah ni adalah dia punya nampak ni sikit lah. So kalau nak betulkan, kalau nak betulkan punya slide lah. So kita move to your hierarchy. So move to your hierarchy sebab okay. So for the first finding, working at the office to the warnanya working dalam kawasan office saja. So ada trailing cable on the floor. Yang ni more on cable management punya issue lah. So if effect dia boleh tripping and fall on the floor. So hazard dia boleh cakap tripping hazard. Dalam kurungan you boleh bagi tahu cable management. So you boleh letak tripping hazard, dalam kurungan you boleh buat cable management. So effect dia trip and fall on the floor. You boleh tambah juga dalam kurungan minor injury lah. Okay, so existing control, kalau observation you cakap tak ada dekat office tersebut, so tak ada lah. Sebab setiap saya government ni dia akan ada buat macam Jepun punya style, dia ada buat 5S. Okay, so perasan tak? Kalau masuk office tu masa buat observation ada tak dia 5S tampal-tampal kat dinding?
Oh, perasan tu.
Itu adalah existing control sebenarnya, tapi you tak perasan sebab benda
Faham.
tu adalah study untuk cable management, including cable management lah. Okay, so sebenarnya tu adalah existing control. And then
Dia dah ada tapi macam tak amalkan macam tu tadi.
itu lack of implementation, tapi overall existing memang wujud kat situ. Okay, so kalau nak lebih detail lagi, biasa dia orang check minute of meeting. Mungkin dia orang ada monthly meeting cerita pasal kabel. Okay, kalau tak ada, kita boleh letak dalam suggestion kita adalah monthly meeting dia orang cerita sikit pasal HSC punya part, especially untuk cable management. So boleh jadi kita punya recommendation untuk administrative control. Okay, so administrative control ni juga kita boleh letak sebagai SOP, signage or poster kat area tersebut berkaitan dengan cable management. So you boleh tambah dekat sini, use cable tie disc and cover strip, and then you boleh slash, you boleh buat poster on cable management, you boleh buat pasal yang meeting tadi, SOP. SOP ya. Okay. So second, you cerita pasal walkway at the halfway during rain. So dia punya hazard dia leaking drain pipe will be wet the floor. So hazard dekat sini adalah wet floor wet lah. So effect dia slip and trip on the floor. Existing control tak ada kan. So you boleh cakap juga sini administrative control dia, kita boleh letak signage yang pasal tak ada signage yang bentuk macam A tu. Kadang-kadang dia akan tulis wet floor.
Yang warna kuning tu.
Itu adalah administrative control.
Okay, boleh.
So engineering control ni fix the leaking at the drain pipe. So saya tak berapa nak setuju sikit sebab dia cerita pasal engineering control. So fix the leaking ni dia bukan buat benda yang baru, dia just fix, dia betulkan. Benda dah wujud tapi dia betulkan. So saya tak sokong sangat engineering control. You boleh tukar letak dalam administrative control pasal administrative control cerita pasal maintenance. So schedule maintenance. Maknanya dalam administrative control dia letak schedule maintenance for leaking drain pipe. Boleh? Okay. So kalau engineering control ni mungkin you boleh fikir pasal dia punya pipe dengan pipe, kadang-kadang tengah-tengah tu kita boleh letak macam besi yang nak mengikat, besi pengikat. So dia tak akan bocor. Ataupun susah lah itu, saya nak cerita pun susah sebab betul mana engineering punya isu. Kalau saya cerita pun saya nak bayangkan sebab saya pun background management engineering saya tak banyak. Okay, tak masalah, you buat management control. So using electronic device, yang ni overload outlet or extension cord. Yang ni you dah cerita pasal electrocution, pasal electric shock. Okay, existing control dia dia tak ada, existing control dia tak ada kat sini kan. So existing control use one extension cord for one wall socket ni nak cerita macam mana? You boleh cakap tampal SOP cara penggunaan elektrik yang betul atau cara penggunaan soket, satu soket untuk satu wall soket. So SOP lah. Ataupun apa kata cara yang betul untuk penggunaan elektrik. You boleh letak juga poster berkaitan dengan elektrik. So manage control ni sebenarnya banyak yang boleh cerita, selain daripada SOP, selain daripada prosedur, selain daripada mungkin dalam meeting pagi boleh cerita juga pasal benda ni. Okay, so boleh tambah-tambah lah sikit
Okay, faham.
Okay. So number 4, cooking at the kitchen. So cooking gas exposed to the sunlight and near the stove. Fire or explosion may happen. Itu mungkin boleh berlaku disebabkan oleh tekanan pada cooking gas lah. Okay. So existing control memang tak ada. Basic control dia apply safe work procedure. Yang ni bagus. Apply safe work procedure pun okey. Mungkin tanpa SOP, poster atau sebagainya. So mungkin dalam SOP tersebut dia cerita jangan expose pada cahaya matahari berlebihan terlalu panjang. Tak masalah. So related law yang saya tengok dalam 1 hingga 4 ni, you letak common sikit kaitan dengan OSHA 1984. Kalau boleh spesifikkan sikit lah dalam kurungan section mana, mungkin section 15, mungkin section 24, mungkin ada berkaitan buat study sikit lah. Macam yang nombor 3 tadi, using electronic ni ada cerita sikit pasal nada port. So ada study sikit, regulation 2004 kan. So saya suka yang tu. Okay, so next. Okay, ni artinya cerita pasal lebih sampai 7 kan. So 5, cooking at the kitchen, exposed to the extreme temperature from the stove, dia ni more on the heat. Okay, nausea, fatigue and dehydration, take a rest every 15 minutes. So sini you boleh buat selain daripada job rotation. Job rotation ni more on administrative control. So you boleh buat dekat sini engineering control. You boleh letak ducting system ataupun LED. Ducting system, maknanya dia satu sistem yang sedut udara panas daripada dalam kitchen kepada luar. Okay.
Yang kipas tu.
Dia punya engineering control. Itu contoh engineering control yang common ataupun ada biasa dekat dapur kan, dekat kitchen. Okay. So you boleh juga buat, tak ada masalah pun. Itu tak boleh banyak-banyak sangat. Saya risau nanti bila ada soalan daripada orang lain, you susah nak jawab. So, kita play safe. Okay. Number 6, using display screen equipment, DSE, incorrect posture while using DSE, fatigue and pain. Yang ni more on ergonomic issue lah. So use adjustable seat or adjustable desk. Yang ni juga boleh cerita dekat administrative control tu pasal SOP macam tadi je. Setiap 15 minit mungkin boleh buat stretching, simple stretching and then start balik kerja. Ataupun you boleh tunjuk juga poster cara penggunaan PC ataupun laptop yang betul, jarak dengan table yang suitable, yang bersesuaian lah. So jarak mata daripada skrin ada dia punya jarak. Okay, and then daripada kaki yang kita duduk, posture yang kita duduk, melengkung atau sebagainya, itu involve dekat chair, kursi dulu. Boleh tambah-tambah sikit lah. Okay. So nombor 7 ni saya komen juga lah, food storing is one improper hygiene and food left unattended. So boleh menyebabkan food poisoning and then boleh menyebabkan biological hazard. So biological hazard akan involve lalat, akan involve dengan semut, akan involve dengan anything yang suka benda-benda yang busuk lah. Okay, boleh menyebabkan food poisoning pun satu. Satu lagi ketidakselesaan. Contoh kata banyak lalat kita tu tak selesa. Boleh bunyi, dia punya kekotoran tu nampak sangat tikus. Bila dah ada tikus, mulalah gigit kabel, gigit tempat-tempat yang suka lah, faham kan?
Itu kan ada macam hazard lock.
Keep food cover ni kadang-kadang perasan tak, bila ada lalat kita akan ada kita kena dalam engineering control dia boleh satu sistem yang yang lampu pasang ke atas yang lalat fly suka benda tu dia mati. Yes. Fly trap. You boleh cakap install fly trap, or you boleh juga cakap buat biological hazard. Contoh macam ada company setiap 3 bulan sekali pesticide control ni akan datang, akan buat assessment, akan buat benda menghalang daripada ni. Maknanya pesticide control lah.
Pest control dekat control measure tadi lah. Recommended control measure dia.
Ya tambah je. Okay, itu benda boleh tambah. Okay, next. So pemilihan untuk more high risk untuk safety dia apa yang ambil tadi? So next lah.
Ini cooking gas, ini untuk safety hazard.
Tadi saya ada komen kan, ada recommendation kan?
Ya,
tambah je lah.
kena tambah lagi ya.
Okay, exposed to the sunlight. Okay, ni pun saya ada cerita sekarang pasal ducting tadi kan?
Ada ya. Ada. Saya dah tulis.
PPE dia tambah sikit. Untuk gas, semua sekali, pemakaian baju, kasut. Pak chef dia ada buat baju dia sendiri. So proper attire at the kitchen lah. Kasut dia orang kena tak boleh boleh oil punya ni safety shoes. Dekat sekolah dia tak akan pakai safety shoes. Saya tahu dia akan pakai skipah, dia akan pakai
Kasut biasa je maybe.
Yes. Di kitchen dia ada dia punya PPE dia sendirilah. So kena double check balik. Okay. Walaupun benda tu nampak macam perlu keluarkan duit, sebab itu hidden cost. Benda yang penting lah. Boleh suggest. Okay, next. Ingat tak ada rekod?
Ada ni benefit tadi saya buat.
Tak apa. Boleh tambah lah sikit. So alhamdulillah accreditation you and your friends actually benda yang betul lah sebenarnya you orang buat antara yang terbaik. Cuma saya nak pesan, bila presentation boleh belajar sikit pasal eye contact, boleh belajar pasal body language, boleh belajar intonasi, macam mana you nak attract orang. Kalau saya just saya tak question sangat you punya kerja, saya tak nak dengar jawapan, saya just nak komen. Sebab bila datang the komen tu you boleh fight untuk next presentation. So
improve lah.
So itu saja daripada saya. Mungkin you ada soalan Alif untuk saya?
Saya rasa macam tak ada, sebab sikit yang kena baiki lah, dah bagi tahu tadi. Saya dah catat, saya tak ada kot.
Okay, macam ni. Semua kawan-kawan yang ada 7 orang, you baiki dulu slideshow yang mana ada yang saya komen dan sebagainya. You orang masukkan balik dalam group, and then saya akan cuba baiki kalau saya ada masa free lah. Dan saya akan hantar balik lah. Okay, ataupun saya akan buat simpanan untuk saya. Sebab saya tahu setiap topik yang you pilih ni bukan calang-calang punya aktiviti lah. You dah more on paper focus. Okay. Congratulations to all of you lah. Okay, so itu saja daripada saya. Kalau salah silap kasar bahasa ataupun bahasa saya tak berapa nak sedap didengar, saya minta maaf lah untuk semua. Okay. So, thank you Alif.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Waalaikumsalam tuan. Terima kasih tuan.
Sama.